Good evening. Such a quiet Tuesday night. It's dark already when we're doing our meetings, and it's October. So fall is upon us. It's like currently right now, like major raining. And that's really weird because we've had hardly any rain all summer, and all of a sudden we're having a downpour in late fall. But we'll take it. It is all needed. So tonight, we're going to do some things a little bit different, and we have some fun things planned for you guys as well. And I'm just going to mute here a little bit. I wanted to start with saying that I'm not sure why it's not working to,
I muted everybody now.
yeah, I did too, and it's not holding. Okay, there we go. Um, this is always a time of the year where people are like, oh, what happened to the year? It's gone already, right? And as rightfully so, we started the last 90 days. And if you look at the calendar, it feels like there's not a whole lot of time left in this year. I hope my power holds out because we just had some lightning and thunder. Okay, you guys get to enjoy my storm. Okay, can you still hear me? It's working. It's working. Okay. Tell me, like, yeah, message me if I go off, okay? Um, last 90 days, and it is really the time of the year where we want to really be intentional about all the things that we want to accomplish yet, right? And it's amazing what a few weeks of intentionality can do and accomplish, right? Oh, he's scared. Oh, that's what's happening. Guys, we have three dogs and it's thundering. It's a crazy show here today. Oh, Max just walked in the door because John couldn't hold him. All right, let's focus. Honey, you're going to be okay. So today we had a little bit of a conversation with doing reach outs and, just really being brave in telling people what we have, right? And Paige had the perfect example. And it was just on the spot. It literally didn't take us 2 minutes to work through it, right? It was just quick and fast. And we had a conversation and it completely flipped her mindset. Yeah, Sheila got kicked out as well. Paige, I would love for you to just kind of reiterate a little bit and then what you did after to get past that.
Okay, so I have a goal. I set a big goal for the end of the year, and I thought, okay, I'm going to have to put some action into this. And so I thought, okay, I just thought of all my goals and all my dreams, and I thought, okay, I really want a local team. I really want people to hang out with, and I talked to a lot of moms at pick up and drop off all the time, and I thought, well, I have all these moms' numbers. What if I messaged them? And honestly, there was so much drama immediately. It was like, what if they look at me different at school pickup and drop off, and what if this, and it was like all the feelings from high school that you're like, what if they don't like me, what if they think I'm weird, what if like literally everything was what if. And anyway, and I just like I had messaged Marge, and I was like, I don't really know, like, what would you do? I don't really know what to do here. And just after talking it briefly through, it was like, it's not about me. And I had to honestly sit there and remind myself, Paige, this isn't about you. Everyone needs to hear about this. It's an invitation. Like, that's all it is. It's an invitation. And I had to coach myself through it. And with Marge and Sheila a little bit. And just like, it's not about me. It's an invitation to all women. It's not about me. They're looking for solutions. And what if they are looking for solutions? And I'm just thinking about me. And anyway, I just was like, yeah, everyone needs to hear this. And so then I went to work and I was messaging people as like a normal human as I could be. And and I think out of the 15 messages, 4 have said, yeah, for sure. Put me in that chat. I want to learn, or put me in that event. And there was only one who was like, no. And one who was like, can I get some more information? And I'm like, well, that's what this event is for, gal, you know. But Anyway, it was just a lot of drama all at once and just a flood of all those emotions that came right back at, like from high school, right? That are just buried deep down. And it's like, but what if they don't like me? They're gonna see me. They're gonna see me at school pickup, and then what? And then, well, whatever. Then they're gonna know that I talk to people about vitamins. Great. So anyway, that's kind of what I got to today.
It was so good because in an instant, oh, it's yeah, giving feedback. In an instant, we can take. Okay, I'll tell you guys what Paige sent me because it'll give you context and it'll give you where she was in her mindset. And then you turned around and did how many messages you said? 15. 15. Like you can change your mindset in such a short time to produce such a different outcome, right? So Paige, I'm just going to barely like quote you a little bit. So she has a list of 20 moms and her brain was giving her all kinds of reasons of not to message them, just like she said, I'll meet them in the pickup line and it'll be awkward, right? And all those things. And that's the last thing on her IPA list to do. And she's just, not super close with them, but they're my kids' friends' mom. And all these reasons. We all have them. We all carry them, right? And so what if it's not? What if it's not? So what if you just message them and say, hey, you know what? I'm doing this thing and your name just popped into my brain. That's weird. Hey, but are you interested? Like, would you even like stuff like this? Be normal, have a conversation. Or just say, you know what? I've really been meaning to ask you about this. And I haven't because I didn't want it to be weird. And guess what? I have you on my heart. So I want it to not be weird. I'm just asking you. Like, be open, be honest, be authentic. So much easier to get that off of your chest instead of fighting it, right? And so I was really proud of her. She did really well. And she's got like 4 yeses already. Way to go, Paige. Okay. And that's leading us into our sugar/detox group. We have been running with the treadmill on high, trying to get everything organized. And now we have a span of time. What day is it today? Today is the 8th. And so we have pretty much exactly 2 weeks before we start. So this is plenty of time to get new customers in, plenty of time to do a lot of white liners, bringing them back and saying exactly this. Hey, you know what? I've been thinking of you. Would you like a restart? Should we get you back on? Wouldn't that be fun to do this together? Hey, how do you do with sugar? Is it easy for you to say no to sugar? Have these conversations that just genuinely come from your heart and don't make it weird like Genevieve says. Because once we make it weird, it's weird for everybody. And then it becomes awkward and then it's like, I wish I hadn't had this conversation. And then you meet them next time in the pickup line and there you're like, okay, that was weird that we had that conversation the other day, hey? It's only awkward if we make it awkward, right? I was really proud of you, Paige. That was really good. Detox group is going to be 10 days and it is really good content. The prizes are super amazing. You probably saw the post already. Again, excellent place to add new customers, bring people back that have been on the silent list, and just revive some of those conversations that is sometimes just needs the door to be open to, and then you can actually encourage them to make this choice for themselves again, right? Or you can troubleshoot and see why they didn't continue. So with that, I'm going to go into Barb's Kitchen show is on next. And so I'm really excited about it because I think this is becoming a thing. She's going to be challenged to do more and more. I'm going to put you on spotlight and then you can take it away.
Thank you. And you know what? This has been so much fun for me. And this is one of the things that has really helped me, and especially when I started the store, trying to stay away from all the sugar and whatever else. And we did do a little bit of dairy when my husband and I started with the carnivore. And this was kind of our go-to couple times a week. And so I'm going to share that with you. So here is the thing. I pick a great Greek yogurt. And what I found was Greek yogurt is one of the ones that has the least amount of sugar, but I couldn't find one in town that doesn't have any sugar. So I went to Costco and I stocked up, and I really just get one of the containers and I put it in a bowl, and I add about, oh, I would say about 4 tablespoons of chia seeds. And I know it sounds like quite a bit, but it's actually not bad. And a lot of times it does make it a little bit too thick, kind of like a pudding. Well, it's chia pudding, right? So it's pudding. But so all my jar of chia seeds is almost gone. I can't believe how much I've used already. But anyway, I add about 4 tablespoons to my Greek yogurt. I add a little bit of your favorite milk. I have a little bit of almond milk, and I add a little bit of that. And of course, my favorite. Does anybody still have that? Oh, it is so good. So, and of course, I do add about 2 tablespoons. This is a big batch of pudding. So when you do store it in the fridge, and basically it is like pudding. So you just add it up, add it together, stir it up, and I always store it in a jar in the fridge. And of course, everyone knows this. If you have it on hand, if it's easy accessible, you're gonna eat this instead of potato chips, right? So this is kind of how it is. You can thin it up a little bit more, put it in a jar, and voila, there you have it. So did you realize that, okay, I'll back up a little bit. So this is what I do. I do half a banana, and then I put, where's my spoon? Two heaping tablespoons of the chia pudding on it. And then I go and grab my cottage cheese. I love cottage cheese. And for you, and I don't know if y'all know, I put a good 2 tablespoons on it. And then I put a little bit of, okay, so this is what I did this week, and I really loved it. We have a family in our community that makes puffed rice and also puffed wheat. And they also do oatmeal. And so I want to go, and I want to go get some more. Anyway, I made a very simple granola with those 3 ingredients, with a little bit of cinnamon and maple syrup and 3 egg whites. And you bake that up, and it's amazing, amazing granola. Sprinkle that on top. And yeah.
Wow.
Have at her. So this is what I have loved in the last month or two. It is easy accessible. It's simple to make. And a lot of times it's ingredients that you have. And did you know that this basically has over 35 grams of protein in it? So that's a big chunk of the protein that you're supposed to have in a day. And guys, I cannot stress this enough. If you do not get your protein in, and if you're my age or a little bit younger, it is a huge deal. And even to for the products to work better is to get that protein in. So yeah, I've noticed a huge difference in my energy even. And you know, sometimes we do stall. Sometimes we do come to a place where things aren't as good as what they used to be, and we got to change things up. We get older and stuff like that. So yeah, this is all the rage for me right now. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll put maybe a recipe or something like that in the team page in the couple of days to come, and then yeah, you can try it.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much, because 30, how many grams of protein in a dessert? Speaking my language now, are we? That is amazing. And it's not a lot of work. You just did that in what, like 2 minutes, right? That looked really good. Okay. Now we're all hungry for that. tonight I want to steer a little bit to a different direction, and the floor is going to be yours. And so I want you to be very open with unmuting and sharing. And we're going to go through some questions about where we're at, where we're going, how it's feeling. And I want you all to feel like it's a very safe place to share, because there's a lot of wisdom around you. If you look around on the screen, there's a lot of wisdom here and a lot of experience as well, and a lot of different ages, right? Like everybody comes from a different age demographic, and you can pretty much cover everybody on our team from very young to senior, you know? And so that's a vast wealth of knowledge. And so I'm going to ask some questions. This is your free coaching session. And the reason, oh my goodness, my animals. The reason I came across this today is because some of you know that I am doing coaching with Keith Callahan, and it's really intense. And it's not hard questions. It's not. It's things that I've known for the last 10 years. It's getting very intentional and simplifying things, right? And so very often when you sit around the table, like we are here around a Zoom screen, very often once you start getting the questions going, people have different answers. And then the other person is going to say, oh, that's interesting. I never thought of it that way, because maybe it's not the way that I said it, or someone else said it, or, you know, maybe the way that you had comprehended it. And so I'm going to pop out some questions that you can kind of roll around in your brain. And then I'm going to open the floor. Can you please get off? I'm going to open the floor to whoever wants to pick one of the questions to answer, or you can focus on just one, whatever, it doesn't matter. We can let this flow the way that we want to, right? So a couple of the things that we were really focusing on this morning was, who are you looking for? If you are in our book study, tomorrow morning is it's our last, right? It's our last session to finish off this book. And if you've gone through the sessions with us, you will know it's not a hard book. It's a very simple book. And the whole concept is we're looking for 5 people. We're basically looking for 5 people. Those 5 people want the same thing that you want, right? And so who are you looking for? Have you thought of that? What does that person look like? How old are they? What do they do for a living? Do you know them? And so next question would be, do they know that you are looking for them? It's always a little bit catches you at the back of the throat, right? And remember, these questions are supposed to be bringing up feelings that you're like sometimes wanting to hide behind a little bit. Sometimes they're a little bit uncomfortable, which they're supposed to be, because you're leaning in and wanting to do something that you've never done before. And so it's going to get uncomfortable. And so one of the biggest pieces that we learn in this business is the energy that you show up with is the energy that your audience is going to match you with. If you're excited, people are going to match that. Excitement trumps any knowledge every day, all day long. You can be so excited and people are going to be jumping on left, right, and center because your belief is high when you're excited. And when you are excited, your belief is high, people feel that, and that's very contagious. Okay? And then, okay, I'm going to let that sit a little bit. Yeah, Melinda. And then you can add number 3, how is your energy? So if something in those questions stands out to you and you have potentially a block on one of them, share that. Share what your mindset block is on that. Share if you feel like you don't know what you're doing, whatever the situation is.
I'm just looking to see, I don't like to be the one talking, but the last one is a journey I've been going through. Because, okay, my dad's a bit much and not in a good way. It's a bit of some stuff going on there. And I'm very excitable. And so I was a very, very shy child, introvert, didn't ever talk, like awkwardly shy. My first job, my boss literally said, you have to start having fun with the team. And somewhere in there, things clicked. And I can be a lot for people. And I've had people say this. And a lot of my closer friends are actually introverts and very, very quiet. And so then you get the comments about talking too much or not asking questions. And I've had that kind of thrown in my face a few times, and I can get excitable over the smallest thing. And I'm married to a very introverted Mennonite man. So like all the things, right? So in my circle of where I happen to be, I can typically be a lot for people. And so when I started doing this, and I want you guys to keep in mind, I only started the social media platform for business. Like I had never touched Facebook in my life. And so when I went on, literally, I'm like, I have to make friends and I have to do this. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to be all sophisticated. I'm going to be mature. I'm going to act like an adult. And so I come across as like, hey, you want this or not? Like, whatevs. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I was trying to be so mature and hold back my too muchness for people. And I think people were confused by it because I get excited about like, oh my gosh, a bunny. And then I'm like, that's something, you can take it or not, whatever. And it's just not who I am. And I think, will my excitement repel some people? It will. But guess what, you guys? It always has. Like it has always. And I think one thing I've learned through this is some of the friendships I've formed outside of my own little team, people appreciate my energy and appreciate that. And if I show up with that energy, people might not be drawn to that, but at least they're going to know, wow, she's really excited about something, right? They're going to know that whether they choose to sit with me or someone else, that's not problematic. And I never make that a problem. Me and Erin know one of the same homeschool moms, and I post about stuff and I'm all excited, and she's wants to do this with Erin, and I'm fine with that. Like Erin's very different. You want Erin, you go to Erin. But I'm learning that if I don't show up with excitement, people are not honestly going to know who I am. And they're not going to want to be excited with me. And I think the opposite can be said. If you are a chill person and you're always kind of whatever, and you show up with this hyperactive energy, people are going to be like, what is interactive? Because that's not who you are, right? So a long way of saying be yourself. And I'm learning to be more excited and to just be okay with that, I guess.
That's really, really good. If you have thoughts that you want to share in the comments, feel free to pop them in there. Authenticity is always such a grab, right? And then being okay with people not being okay with who you are. That's okay. That's okay. That was really good, Shelly. Anybody want to cover a little bit of, have you dug into who are you looking for? If you visualize of where your business is going, do you know where your business is going? And who is coming with you? If you visualize yourself going on that cruise, who's there with you? Did you bring team members? Sometimes you have to take a little bit of time. Paige knows who she is. She just doesn't know where she is. One day she's going to send a message and uncover that one cup in that gymnasium, and bam, it's going to be her diamond, right? And I remember when we first started, there was so much of the belief building conversation that I think over the years, as the world is changing and whatever, kind of fades away sometimes, right? And okay, I'm gonna stay there. I'm gonna let you guys think about that a little bit. Who's coming with you? If you visualize yourself as a diamond, you're gonna need people that have grown their own businesses alongside of you. Who's standing with you? Sometimes that's a little bit hard to dig into, but it might come to you more so in a way of like sometimes you have a conversation with someone and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I never thought of her. Or did I prejudge her? Or did I think that she wouldn't want to? Right. And so the more you think of it, the more you're going to know to talk to all people. Okay. I know what I'm looking for. I've shared my heart with all the people currently. Oops, sorry. No, that fit the bill. They have all said no. I get drama about finding new people. And that's okay. That's okay. It's okay to be honest. And Kelly has shared that a couple times in our chat. It's like, okay, what do I do now? Because I have all sorts of thoughts about this. That's good to be aware of your mindset as you're working through the process of getting to know people. And where is this conversation taking me, right? I don't know who's standing by, but some of them, I don't think they see it. Yes, Shelley, that's a really good point. Very good point. May not just be their time yet, right? Okay, so let's do this one. Personal growth is always such a huge piece of our business. And I know that sometimes people are like, just let me do the work. Like, just let me do the work and I'll just bring people in and it'll kind of, take care of itself. It will. It will. If you work hard, your business will probably grow right up into your lid because everyone has a lid. And it was interesting, the conversation that we had this morning where Keith Callahan said, in the last 10 years, okay, guys, get ready for your jaws to drop. This is the possibility of network marketing. In the last 10 years, he has made anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000, get this, a week. Not a month, a week. And he said, guess what? I still sit down and wonder, can I do this? What am I doing wrong? Why is this not working? So take heart in the humanness of who we are, and that when you push yourself beyond of what you have done before, that's your lid, right? And when you push your lid up, it's going to be a little bit hard. And so I found that very reassuring. And he said, to get from a $1 million year into a $10 million year can be just an inch of growth. It's crazy, isn't it? And that's the power of your mind. Okay, so let's take that personally a little bit. And you don't have to share personal lessons, but more growth things that you have experienced. What is the greatest lesson you have learned so far in your journey? Be it if it's like 5 months, 2 months, if it's 10 years, what is one of the greatest lessons or the greatest lesson that you have learned in building your business so far? It can be simple things like just developed a little bit more thicker skin, allowing some of the opinions to roll off your back, and more so along the lines of, water off a duck's back. People have opinions all the time. Sheila, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I figured I'd kick it off and maybe encourage somebody else to unmute too. Because it's okay, this is a safe space. I think the most important thing I have learned since starting Plexus is to be true to myself. That the world doesn't need another one of the person that I'm comparing myself to. The world needs me in all aspects. My kids need me. My husband needs me for who I am. My team needs me for who I am. To be true to myself and to be okay with not everybody liking me. I will never be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. That is okay. And so I think that is the most important lesson I've learned through, and it took a long time for it to take root. A long time.
That's really, really good. It's also why Sheila's team is doing the same thing, right? Because your team is going to emulate what you're growing in as well. And so I love your comments. Really, really good comments. I learned more about myself, who I am, what I can do, because we're always more capable than what we think we are, right? Your capacity is usually bigger, to not take things personally. It's so easy when you sent I'm just going to use an illustration. Okay, let's say I really want to talk to this person. I've been holding out a little bit and I've been having drama in my brain about talking to this person. And then all of a sudden I just get the courage up. I send the message. I feel like it's a very heartfelt message. And I just feel like she's just going to open her heart and talk to me. And we're just going to have this wonderful conversation. And she leaves me unread. You can choose to have drama about that, or you can say, oh, I bet her cat stepped on her phone, opened the message, she's never seen it. We get to choose, right? Learning to welcome objections. That's a really good one, Tira. My brain believes what I tell myself. Be careful what I speak, be positive. Yes. Yes, we get to choose what to believe. That's so good. I think the V60 was Penny, right? My biggest lessons is that I can't move forward unless I grow. Oh my goodness, girl, that is so good. And it's constant, it never ends, and it's good. And that growth looks like a jagged mountain and not a steady incline. Absolute truth. And Kelly, the everlasting one that's always going to stand. What other people think about what I'm doing does not matter. It literally does not matter. I don't focus a little bit on Penny's comment there. My biggest lesson is that sorry, go ahead. Okay. Barb, right after I'm done, you have to say what you were going to say. Biggest lesson is that I can't move forward unless I grow. That's your lid. That's your lid, right? And so your capacity has to increase to bring more in. So good. Okay, Barb, your turn.
I think one of the biggest lessons I have learned is never ever be afraid to tell your story. And always keep telling your story because it matters. And people who will relate to you, those are the people I think a lot of times are exactly like you. And very often those are the people that you sign up because those are the ones you attract. And I think a lot of times, and with that question being said, who are you taking with you? Very often they are already on your team. You just haven't given them the vision or cast enough vision for them, or maybe even talked enough into them that they know that this is something that they could do.
That's so good. That's like Shelley said, it took me 5 years. That's why we don't stop. That's why we don't stop inviting. We don't stop speaking belief over people, right? Casting vision. Others' opinions of my abilities to be a leader do not dictate my actual abilities to be a leader. God has gifted me, my team, and this time. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so good. Okay, then let's take that, all that piece, and let's ask, so where is your belief on a scale of 1 to 10? Number 1 in yourself, number 2 in your products, and number 3 in network marketing. So 1, 2, and 3, yourself, belief on a scale of 1 to 10. 2, your products. 3, in the business model of network marketing. You can pop it into the comments. You can share if you want to, or you can share if one is harder than the other, easier than the other. I personally would say I started this business probably with a belief of maybe a 1, maybe a 0.5 in myself. Maybe it was even a little bit negative. Maybe it was even a little bit in the red, right? The products, I feel like I walked into with belief, because when you're experiencing results, you have something to fall back on. And I always said that no one can take away my story. No one can take away your story. Fact is that it happened, right? In the business model of network marketing, I would say it took me a few years to really experience growth and really experience the change in my own life, not just financially, but in life, in what the business and the network marketing model demonstrated in our life by bringing the community into our life, by bringing friends that were uplifters, encouragers, life speakers, right? Not a competitive, cliquey little group, but more of, you can sit at our table, but we're going to challenge you to be your best. And I had never had that. And so I would say slowly I came in and built my belief in the network marketing model as well. And I also chose to really, really dig in and learn of why residual income is so life-changing. And so right now, I would say my belief in network marketing, and remind me at the end, I want to tell you a story that Keith Callahan shared today, but I think I'm at a 10 right now. Shelly's hour by hour. I feel like
yeah, I think that goes to show with what I said before, don't do it when you feel like it, because last week I was on fire, and Friday I was like, this is amazing. I'm the best. Everyone should want to be with me. I was feeling good. Saturday I worked hard. I usually take a bit of flex time. I did all the things on Saturday. Sunday I did half a workload, but I felt really good about it and had a great day. I don't know what happened. Monday I woke up and I'm like, what am I doing? I need to move to Waikiki and change my name. And it literally, I'd love to tell you it was a great event that took place, but there wasn't. I'm just like, I can't do this. And Paige is like, what happened? I was telling Paige, I'm like, I don't know. I think I just woke up. Like, it's so real, you guys. And if I let that derail me, well, I wouldn't have done any of the reach outs I did this week. I wouldn't be here tonight. I wouldn't go to book study tomorrow. And this is why, like, you just have to do it when you don't feel like it, because we are not reliable people, right? It's hard to have belief in ourselves because we haven't proven to be reliable. We don't put the socks away. We don't do the dishes. Like, we can bring up so many things in our brain, and our brain will use evidence of like unconnected things. I forgot to feed my turtle 10 years ago. Oh, I guess I can't do this company today. Like, unconnected, but our brain will use it against us, right?
feelings are so fickle.
Yeah.
Destroy way more dreams than you can ever count. It is so devastating. So do not ever rely on your feelings or rely on your motivation, because it'll never always be there, right? Okay, Barb, I have Unshakable Belief Products Company. Get to work on the belief for myself. It's coming. Absolutely. Paige. Oh, that's so good, Paige. Yes, but when Paige makes a really good point there, guys, when I am not close to the fire, my belief in myself dwindles a smidge, right? Or if there's a hiccup in another area of my life. And I don't know if you guys, if it was on team call where I said this, or it was book study or something, but one thing that I've really come to realize is it's not going to be major things. Like Shelly said, I don't know what happened. I just woke up. It's not going to be major things. But the biggest thing that is going to take your dream away is distractions. It might be putting the socks away. It might be feeding your dead turtle. I don't know. I don't know. You know, and it's sometimes when you look back, you can't even put your finger on it, but you allowed the feelings to pull you off course. And then there's a million distractions that we can allow that to be the excuses, right? Okay, solid belief in the products and myself, more like a 2 or 3. Okay, been feeling very discouraged yesterday. We get to talk that belief into you, Josie. And often those things are, once we I think it was Sheila that said it the other day, once we start talking about it, as you're talking, you're already explaining to yourself of what the situation is. And then you can hear, oh my goodness, okay, this is really not a big deal. I made this a big deal, right? And so if you ever have a day like this and you need to reach out and talk to someone just to get it off of your chest, it's often a very good way of answering yourself of what's actually going on. Hormones. Hormones are not feelings. They are not valid. Cannot blame them. I think the common trend of what we're seeing here is belief is always going to be a choice. It is always going to be a choice. And that choice sometimes has to be made hourly. Sometimes that choice has to be verbally told to ourselves. And sometimes that choice has to just be a decision to not go back on ourselves. And so I remember when several times in my past 10 years, when I was challenged with making a decision. And when people say, well, are you all in? I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean to be all in? Like, what am I doing now? If I say I'm all in, what does that look like? That only means that you've made a decision about yourself. To be all in, and if you truly want this, you've made a decision to not quit on yourself. And that means that regardless of how often you're going to get hit with unbelief, you've made a decision to actually follow through and know and understand that you have belief about yourself. And this is super, super important when you're reaching for a rank up, because never are you going to doubt yourself more than when you have to rely on other people to help you get to a goal. Right? And now you're fully walking out on faith. It's a really, really good experience to develop your own self-belief. And that's why we're working through some of these things. Kelly, that's just awareness. I'm noticing I put on a front full of belief because I don't do and acknowledge my doubts because I don't want them to make my decisions for me. Yeah. And that's why I said you speak belief over yourself because you have chosen to believe in yourself, right? And just because your subconscious says, oh, well, that's not true, blah, 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 and, you know, the voices are chirping, it doesn't mean that you're listening to them. Really, really good. Guys, thank you so much for participating. Like, some of these questions are hard. They're not easy. And to do growth is, I've often said okay, I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable here. I'm going to read Tiara's comment first. Sometimes it's a good thing when she doesn't give me advice. So yes, so that you can figure it out yourself. That's a really good thing. Sometimes we have to figure out what it actually is that we're believing about ourselves, right? And so, there's times when you're not going to believe in yourself, and it's going to affect everything that you're doing. Personal growth is hard. It really is. I've often said to John, to, you know, people close to me, I've said it to Sheila, why did I have to be a person that wants to learn everything? Why can't I just be like a happy little Nelly housewife, right? Because I've encountered growth that has been very hard, and it's really pushed me outside of the realm that is considered to be normal, because I didn't fit into a mold. And I can truly say that at 50 years old, I do not regret 1 minute of learning hard things ever. Because when I look around at the world and I look around at the power that we women have to make a change in our own lives and in the lives of others, that is a massive gift. Have you ever watched men converse and talk to each other when there's just men? I laugh at this all the time. Does your husband sometimes come home and say, oh, so-and-so had a baby? And you're like, oh, what was it? How was it? What did they eat? When was it born? And he's like, they had a baby. you know, men are just black and white. They're going to be so simple and so cut and dried. They don't take time for all those little things, right? It doesn't matter to them. They get to the point, right? And so some of you might have seen, I'm gonna close off with this. Paige, I know we do that, right? Some of you might have seen my post today, and I shared it in my stories as well. So I'm just going to briefly explain a little bit of what went down there. And we were, you know, it wasn't a big deal, but it really, really sat heavy with me of what the consequences of this one post could and would be. So there was a post in this Christian moms group. The poor girl was asking, how can I make like a few $100s? Just like literally $200 to $300 would change our life. Okay, that really tugs on my heart. I've been in a place where I did not have $200 to $300 and I didn't know how I would pay for groceries. So I can empathize with that, right? There was so many comments, from cleaning the church to nannying. This girl had 3 children. I'm sorry, your brain can only handle so and so many children. And there was several other moms offering, you know, I do Arbonne, I do this and whatever. Comments were good. One girl decided to blow the whistle and said, watch out for all the comments in here about MLMs. They're just super predatory and no one makes money in them. And it just immediately struck me as like, oh, girl, like something really bad happened to you in order for you to come in a group of thousands of people and make a comment like that. Like she must have had a horrible experience. And I sat on it for a bit. And then finally I went and responded. And I said, well, I guess I'm not the norm, because there is an opportunity and I'm proof that there is. And I'm actually even proof that, you know, you could easily make a few $100s. And wow, I could have built a massive, massive fire, because I only said about 2 or 3 things and I kept it very simple and very basic to me. Just basically told her that no, your 5-minute Google search isn't correct, and that she said she had all the evidence, and your evidence is not right, because guess what? I'm proof. And I said, this is my story. You can't change my story, right? And so this morning, I was still thinking of that. And my place was, if we in a group of women who call themselves Christians, whatever your faith is, if we tear each other down and pick each other apart, it's so easy to see why people don't believe in themselves. It's like, you know, it's like the fluorescent LED light in the room. It's like, I was thinking about all the other women that were asking for help. All the other women would probably be focusing on this one comment thread of where she and one other girl chose to come. And, you know, if I hadn't had, like, I looked at it and I thought, oh, you little girls ain't going to hurt my feelings. I'm too old for that. That's how I looked at it. And I thought to myself, but I feel really sorry for you, because they were like tagging admins and remove all these predatory people, you prey on people, and, you know, and basically, if we allow that situation to stay and we remain quiet, now the group is not a place to go pick your fight, but you have your own platform, and that's your own voice. And your platform can be social media, it can be your friends, it can be wherever you share who you are. Like Shelley said, we're going to be too much for some, and that's okay. That is okay. I have pretty much been told all my life, can you please not talk as much? And it's kind of gotten me a good living. You know, I talk for a living. I'm okay with that. But today I was really, really burdened about the fact that If we keep tearing down each other, how can we expect to grow? And what if we used our own platform, where we are, who we are, like Barb said, use your story. Never stop telling your story. Never hide in the back of the room because there's a loudmouth at the front spewing her opinion and she's never done what you have done. Do not allow yourself to be silenced. You have been successful in network marketing. You are doing it in an ethical, upright manner. You are touching, helping, encouraging, uplifting other people's lives. Don't ever, ever allow one loud voice to kill that belief. And that is why we encourage, uplift, and help each other build that belief, right? And so I made a post of it. I shared in my stories a little bit because I thought, you know what? We can be a voice. We can talk to whoever decides to listen. But we also can tell each other that we're here for each other. And we can also tell each other that, tell your friends that this is the kind of community that I have. This is where you get to sit at a table and decide what you want your life to look like. And no one's going to bash you. No one's going to tell you, why are you even dreaming like that? So you guys, I have yet to look through my messages, but there's at least 10 or 15 on Instagram where people were just like, thank you so much for sharing this, because I've been so devastated at how I've been, ridiculed, made to feel foolish, whatever it was. And it's really devastating to understand the depth of, I don't know what the word would be to use. People can be really mean. People can be really mean. And it's very hurtful when it comes from loved ones. And so if you need a place to build your belief and you feel like this is a safe place to do it, that's kind of why I walked through this today, because I was just like, there's no way that people with stories like ours, just look on this screen. There's life transforming stories right in front of you. Who are you going to allow to say that that isn't true? I would venture to say that every one of us on this screen has made money for taking our vitamins. No one else pays you to take your vitamins. There's so many pieces to this that we can stand and uphold each other. And the one big thing that I really wanted to bring out today was, do not allow yourself to be silenced. You have a voice, you have a platform, and while you're not talking to everyone, you are talking to those that are desperate, and they usually will come up and towards you because you have not been silenced. I want to read the comments, but I would love to hear a couple of thoughts if you guys have something to add.
I guess my favorite simple saying is hurt people hurt people. So we get to choose to be offended, and we get to choose to let it roll off our back and be like, I don't have to let that mean anything, right? So when people hurt you, that's where they're coming from, and you have us, right?
And healed people help heal people. Because when you choose to do the growth, and when you choose to decide to do something hard, you will grow. And one of the comments on my post today was, she's the grandma of one of Sheila's ambassadors. She is a sweetheart. I don't know how old she is. She must be like mid-70s. And she's always supported and encouraged us. And she made the comment of, it was the same thing as the crabs in the bucket, right? If someone rises above, the others are going to want to pull you down, that we all remain the same, because what happens when one of you changes? the others are aware that they're not changing, they're not growing, they're remaining the same. So never be afraid to grow. Never be afraid to grow.
I want to add something just along the same lines, a little bit different, but maybe not. I recently had one of my friends look at me and say, "So how long have you been doing Plexus?"
50 years.
And the insinuation.
Did we lose Penny? Penny, we lost you. Okay, I'm gonna go to, oh, she's gonna put it in the chat. Okay. I'm gonna go to Josie's comment because I really, really, really feel bad for you. And it's just horrible how that whole situation played down. But I really, and I think it was Trina that I was talking to last time about this situation. And I really feel like in a situation like that, like I'm just gonna be very open here. Josie's sponsor quit as an Emerald. Like she had a solid, good, amazing Emerald team who I adore. Like the whole team was just incredible. And she chose to be led astray by lack of self-belief is pretty much what happened. The town, you know, I was the only one in a small town. We got very, very ridiculed in the beginning. The town, like people and gossip can be very hard, and yet it can also be a huge platform because with certain places you might know and just understand, I'm just, you know, not going to approach those people or ever talk to them. But then in other places, you will realize that there's more people like you, and there's more people that are like, well, that's what she did, but obviously that's not what Jose is doing. You know, like you have the opportunity to show them the long-term plexus. You have the opportunity to show them this is what happens when people stay. This is what happens when you truly embody of who plexus says they are, and if you're blessed, be a blessing, right? Like you get to carry on the truth. She decided not to. And what I can understand and empathize, it's hard because you're alone. I really understand because I was alone here in my small town when my business was growing the fastest. Not alone. I had friends, but the only one that had a business that was to that place of where people were ridiculing it so much, right? And so the only thing that you can take from that is they only know what they know. If they've never seen someone do it well, you get to have that opportunity. And I've also had the comment of where Penny said, how long have you been doing that now? You know, it's like, how long have you had your mediocre little paycheck job that, you know, you still go to every day? It's the same thing, right? Yeah, I like Shelley's comment there. Anybody else have something to add? I don't know. I felt like this was time to kind of cover some of these questions. And if you feel like it's heavy, I didn't mean it to be heavy. I meant it to be like, ooh, let's look at, you know, what we're growing into, where we're going. Let's take away some of those blocks and let's be mindful of how much possibility we have. Oh, that's okay. You're welcome, Josie. And so if you have something that you're struggling with, reach out and talk. It's the best thing that you can do. And surround yourself with the community. The more you show up, the more belief you're going to get from your sidelines, from your uplines and places like that. And it's just feeds you where you need it. All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for sharing. I so enjoyed this. Have a great night.